I'm Nikki Warner. I'm the Senior Vice President of the Western Region for Allied Solutions. And today I have three gentlemen joining me from our Client Advisory Board, and we're going to be discussing ways that we can attract Gen Z members in credit unions today. So first I'd like to introduce our first panelist, Jeff.
Jeff Kennedy, CEO of Twin Star Credit Union in Olympia, Washington.
David Tuyo, President and CEO of the University Credit Union in Los Angeles, California.
Steve O'Connell, President and CEO of California Credit Union in Glendale, California.
Okay, so let's start talking about Gen Z members and what you're doing to attract them and different strategies that you've deployed.
So Gen Z is a really interesting group because you hear that they have some affinity to belonging and to different causes, but they're also very, very, very product specific in what they're looking for. I think one of the challenges we have as credit unions is there's, 4,600 credit unions, 4,600 community banks, 10,000 fintechs out there that all have what they're looking for, and trying to find what that thing is that drives them to us. I think that's one of the biggest challenges we face right now.
From a Gen Z perspective, very much the same way. I mean, the digital experience is a big key component. We really try to be intentional about our digital design when we're trying to engage Gen Zers. Again, as a father, I get feedback from our family's the biggest critics, of course, and so it's always great to hear what they have to say. I try to learn more about them and go through that process.
That's similar to us. We try to understand, like any member's journey, trying to understand where they are in life, kind of what's their value proposition, kind of how do they speak to us? Is it more, are they digital, more natives? And we speak in that tongue with them. So it's much more social media, it's Facebook, X, Google, Bing. We're doing all the things that I never thought I'd be doing as CEO, but it's working. Yeah, we're seeing good results.
Digital is such a huge driving force in all three of your credit unions. So what are you guys doing from a digital perspective that has really helped to attract Gen Z?
I mean, we're a digital first organization and have been. We're not branch heavy. We only have a few branches as it is. When we started down that process of rebuilding our tech stack and supporting our digital first strategy, it changed how the entire organization looks at things. And so they really think about automate and elevate in our approach to our work, which is in line with what Gen Z wants. They want a self-service experience that's flawless and effortless, and where they don't have to come into a branch, or they don't have to sign into a Teams meeting, or they don't have to go to a Zoom link, or they don't have to, even a DocuSign link for that matter. They just want to be able to go in the app and get it done.
And it's a pretty expensive investment opportunity right now, because we're doing at California Credit Union, we have both. We're a heavy branch, and we have to do heavy digital.
Right.
But we still are very invested in the branch footprint. It's just the way our members are, and even the younger generation is still going through. We don't have a philosophy. We have more of a high touch kind of philosophy. It's just a community lender.
We have to get better as credit unions about telling our story. Because before social media, what did we do? Is occasionally we put out a newsletter, or we'd send a picture into the league. And now it's online real time, because if we don't tell the story, somebody else is going to tell it for us, and it may not be in a flattering light.
With Gen Z, there's a lot of focus on community involvement. What are your credit unions doing to help serve the underserved and your local communities?
What we've done at California Credit Union, we've made it more of a volunteer, employee-based kind of approach. We had this budgeted for community involvement, and obviously it's sponsored by an executive, but there's a lot of good that's been driven by our volunteer efforts, and again, now they have a voice.
That's wonderful. It's such a way to enrich their lives.
Totally.
We actually laid it out to our employees and said, okay, look, who are we? Who do we aspire to be? They created music videos by department, had a great time, and that came into what is the Champions core values at University Credit Union, made a big difference. And so when our growth teams are on campuses, when our teams are making a difference in the university communities as we define it, they're doing that authentically and genuinely, because they know that is everything that they had a hand in, that they've been creating themselves. It wasn't just somebody coming in and saying, you do this, right? It's genuine because it is what they're passionate about. It is really who we are in our DNA.
We're just wrapping up our summer intern program, and that's one of the most fun kind of events that we have throughout the summer, I think. So we use them also as focus groups. I mean, they are that generation, and we talk about it from a consumer base and from an employer base. And we've gotten a lot of enlightenment from them, and kind of back to letting those have a voice. We do respond, and that way we get a little bit more buy-in from the members and the employees.
Absolutely. And we've done the same thing at Allied as well. We allow our employees too to go out and volunteer in the communities and do things that are meaningful for them. And the reward back to the individual employee is just phenomenal. And they feel more closely tied to our organization. And I'm assuming that your employees do too. So can you talk to me a little bit about the credit union promise and what that means to you and how that is translated into the Gen Z members and the products and services that you offer to them?
It's a good question, and I think, at least for California Credit Union, it goes deep. It does go back to our original core values, and something that, I've been with the credit union for 22 years, and I've been an executive there all 22 years, so I'm a part of the imprint of kind of our culture. I'd say a big part of that. And it is back to kind of being there for our members always and all times.
Part of our differentiation strategy is that we know our members better than anybody else. Yeah. Our value proposition is really built around and to support our promise. Our promise is to give everyone in the university community a financial advantage. And at our organization, 100% of our employees, whether you're in IT or accounting or you're on the front line, even myself, we're all certified in financial counseling and financial planning. And then finally, we guarantee that our rates will be in the top 5% in the country. So we want to give that peace of mind.
It's a promise to something that's better than the alternatives that are out there in the market. And so whether that's financial planning, whether that's financial literacy, product services, it's really about connecting with a group of people as to why credit unions are the better advantage versus all the commercial banks and all the things talk about all those fintechs. And I think that's the mission. I think that the challenge that we've got is to be able to communicate in the proper form and forum that makes us relevant.
I think the average age of credit union members is, like 50, 51. Mm-hmm. That has been about the same average since I started in this industry 22 years ago. And so the math is pretty simple. Mm-hmm. We have done a pretty good job at replacing and gathering certain generational lifestyles. We can do better in all of them, I think. But as an industry, I think all industries want the younger generation. How do you do it? Because it is, like you said, it's a different nut to crack.
Absolutely.
And I think this generation will figure it out. I think we've been figuring it out.
Yeah. So talk to me about how you work with the various partners to deliver digital services to your members. What does that look like from each of your credit union's perspectives and how you approach that?
We're only just over $1 billion in assets, 1.2 billion. So we need a third party to help. We're going to be heavily reliant on our third party vendors and partners and Allied Solutions as well. When we try to ideate about them, we try to share with them as much as we can around what our problems are, so that way they may look at the problem differently than we do. Like I mentioned before, on college campuses, right? So we were talking about our direct deposit initiatives and how we were trying to increase the number of direct deposits we have. And then with our partnership with our online account opening partner, they actually built in a process where we are automatically updating directly with their HRIS systems onboarding for direct deposit. So you think about how that can really make a difference. Naturally, we've seen our direct deposit increase by double digits. And
absolutely.
So those are things
it's effective.
Right? But you have to be open with that, and you have to make sure you're inclusive and bring them into the table.
Speed at which things are being brought to market right now is you're almost reliant upon someone else to develop that technology. Right. And so it's the ability to go out to market and find a solution. You guys should use that in your name. That would be really good. If you bring the solution in, we've been looking at the dev site for years and just said there are too many smart people and smart partners out there that can develop, bring to market, and ready for delivery in a very, very short period of time. And I think that has become, we're talking about Gen Z, that's the expectation. It's not, we're working on it because while we're working on it, they found it somewhere else. They're already using it. Yeah.
We have to have that investment in digital platform, and we have member-centric philosophy is our day-to-day. Every meeting, it's all about how the member's being impacted. And so we score our members, or score ourselves with our member satisfaction. We're always hitting 98% for the last 5 years. So in order to do that, though, that investment's everywhere. And that investment is really big right now in digital. And we're not doing it on our own.
So what are you looking for in a partner when you're going out to build different strategies and fulfill the challenges or overcome the challenges that you're faced with in delivering exceptional member service?
For me, I think we look for proven success in the market, but then also a trusted partner. There's a lot of things out there where you're trying to work with a third party or trying to vet the marketplace or environmental scan, and it really comes down to there's a lot of things that are very similar, right? Mm-hmm. You want to be able to reach out to that partner and say, hey, we got an issue here, and I can always trust that Allied's can make it right.
to bring something that's valuable, something that's needed, something that fits with us. And I think that's different than a lot of different companies. There's a lot of vendors out there. There's very few trusted partners that align their strategy with yours as an organization. I think that's incredibly valuable in the marketplace, and it's pretty rare.
I do sit down with our account executive, Allied Solutions, every year, at the beginning of the year, and I go down with our top 5 strategies. Yeah. And I already have ideas of kind of what I want to do, kind of from a tactical perspective, but I sit down with trusted partners and sell me what I need, not what you want to sell. And that's what Allied Solutions always done for us.
We aspire to be a partner of your credit unions and come in and listen to you and what your needs are and what can we do to match up our solutions to fulfill the needs that you have at your organizations. Thank you for your time this afternoon and sitting down and talking through different things that your organizations are doing and ways that we can work together on the innovation side and being able to deliver and attract Gen Z credit union members in your organizations. So thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.